Alright guys, Copper Cutlass. This is my second try because I wasn't happy with the first video, so my beer's getting warm. Definitely getting warm. Cheers. Um, just got done with dinner and I was kind of thinking about, I've been getting a lot of comments. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the shares and all the interest. But there's a couple of things that I kind of wanted to touch on because as we got a lot of new subscribers and people that are kind of on board, there's a lot of history to what I've done. And one of the key elements to everything I've done with my car has been on a budget. I bought the car as a means to learn how to do body work going into the trade. But making peanuts, I mean, I started in a body shop making $7.50 an hour. I was an hourly guy, like, I was actually working on cars. I wasn't just brooming. I went in as an apprentice, and but I was very desperate because trying to get my foot in the door was very hard at that time, which isn't the issue right now. It's kind of funny how almost 20 years later, no, 18 years later-ish, how desperate the industry has become. So if you guys have kids, push them into the trades. Do that favor for me because good techs are hard to find and it's not a hard skill to learn. Kids these days are creative, and body work is as much of an art as shaping clay. It's just you're working with metal and you're working with body filler. But anyway, so I got the car back in 2007 as a means to learn to do body work. But I was always short on cash, and luckily the guy who took me under his wing, also a big Oldsmobile guy, Oldsmobile racer, I'm not going to mention his name, but he took me under his wing, and that's kind of how I got in Oldsmobiles. I bought my Cutlass from him. It was sitting outside his pole barn. Bought it for $2,000. My dad gave me the option of whether you're either going to go to school or you're going to get a project car, which kind of caught me off guard because I'd been wanting a project car since high school, and after high school, well, then he was all for it. But money being the key factor there, I kind of got lucky that I got hooked up with the right people, and I was able to put a car together within under 2 years. I started on the car when I was 17, and I got it done right before I turned 20. I got it done I took it for its maiden voyage on April of 2009, just a couple of months shy of having the car for 2 years. And it was just a little street cruiser with a 350, 342 gear, plenty to do burnouts. We had stock rally wheels on it, 14s with a nice tire on it, and it was a very, had a nice rumble to it. It was a cool car. And then we hit the drag strip that same summer and everything changed. The focus became, let's get this car to go faster. My first time at the track I ran a 13.9, which was very respectable. And then eventually we did a lot of small things, but we got the car down to the 13.7s. And I also crashed the car, and over the years I've built a lot of engine combinations. But the key element there is budget, budget, budget. And it's not that I don't have the money, it's just that I don't see it feasible to spend a lot of money on a hobby that is fun for me, because I used to race RC cars, and I would see this all the time. You would see the best racer out at an RC track, racing in a stadium truck, and mind you, it's a 1/10 scale. And these guys would have thousands of dollars into their whole thing, like 20 batteries, multiple chargers, like power, this, that, and the other. And like, I may have not won many races, but I would rub elbows with those guys and keep up with them, and all of my stuff was outdated. I was the kid at the hobby shop looking at the used stuff on consignment stuff to build my RC car. And that mentality carried over into cars because I had a lot of fun racing RC cars, but I didn't have a lot of money. The only money I made was, growing up, was my dad would take me to his work, and I'd sweep the shop, I'd clean the shop trucks, and whatever money I could scrape up, I put into my RC cars or skateboards, and I skateboarded a lot, so skateboarding was expensive. I'd break a skateboard like every other week, $60 a pop. So between that and RC cars, that's all I lived for, you know, up until I got a car. But that whole budget mentality comes from that, you know, and I see it in racing. You guys have probably seen the memes about, you know, the guy with the big double stacker trailer and the motor bus, and like talking about, you know, how the cost of racing is going up, and you got the two guys with a busted old truck with open trailer, you know, cracking up, you know, having a beer, talking about how much fun they had. And I think about like last fall at the track with my buddy Dave, how much of a blast we had just doing all these stupid little things, and we got the car down to like back to where it was, you know, 11:51. The fastest the car's gone was in 11:49. We're within 200th, so our 60 foot's still off. But again, that's why I do things the way I do. I don't seek out to build garbage. Somebody made the comment about the junk on the cylinder head. That was Dave's joke, because there was a cracked seat on that head, so he just added the U and K to the J on the head. So, but you got to take it with a grain of salt with what I do. I've done a lot with a little, and not to toot my own horn, but a lot of guys gave me a lot of crap for many years until, you know, they saw that failure isn't always imminent. You got to be smart if you're going to be doing stuff like this. You have to be very careful and very conscious of what you're putting in your car. You know, I've never just bought an engine and dropped it in. I've taken in a lot of orphaned engines, and even the worst of orphans we've gone through. Like the 455 that was in Project Enron, you know, that engine had history with Mr. Dave Worthington, and it had, you know, everything was actually still fairly good. We're positive that engine was sprayed, it was street raced, and we ultimately killed it at US 41 racing it in Enron. I think JJ claims to have over revved it. I don't know. We didn't have an RPM chip in it, so I probably over revved it too. And then we killed the transmission, and just the Project Enron. If you guys go back and you look through my videos and you guys look up Project Enron, that was one hell of an epic project with a bunch of friends just putting something together with whatever you had lying around, and it was a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what racing is to me. We go out, we bracket race every other weekend. Me and my buddies. I got my one friend's engine here that I race with. I've known him since high school. He's had the car for 20 years. And we're out there just racing, having fun, you know, with our junk. You know, you don't need big money to go out racing and having fun. You don't even need experience. You'll build it as you go. I'm not the world's best racer, but I go out there and I manage to go a couple rounds every race, and that's fun enough for me. You know, a couple years ago, we managed to be in the top 10, and we got to go run Division III finals at Indianapolis Raceway Park, which was a lot of fun. That wasn't cheap. I did spend money on that, but that was worth the experience. But anyway, I figured I would make this video because there may be a little bit of misconception as to what I do, and yes, I have some very good friends that have helped me out a lot, and you know, I have people that, you know, will pitch me stuff on Facebook and be like, yo, you might be interested in this is cheap, or they have parts that they run into, like, you know, the J-headed 350 is pretty much solely parts I got from like JJ and forum members and other people I race with. Like this engine has various names on it because of all the parts that I've gotten, and I can name them down for you, but you guys wouldn't know any of them. But pretty much the new parts in it are the wear items, like your rings, your bearings, you know, the push rods were new because we needed the right size. But I think I got the intake from JJ as well. The short block I got from JJ. The heads I got from JJ. The pan is from a buddy of mine out in Texas. The headers are from my buddy Mike, who I also race with. The carburetor I got from another forum member years ago. I've had this carburetor for a long time. The list goes on. Biggest thing is, you know, if you're going to do it on a budget, be smart, be wise. I advocate for doing it on a budget, but you also have to do your due diligence and wisely choose what you're going to do. So for everybody new out there following, this is kind of like an important thing because I've been making videos for a while now and they kind of get lost to time. So I felt it was an appropriate time to kind of re-up this subject because I've had a wave of new people coming in on board, and what we're doing isn't necessarily all about money. It's about what you can do and what the capabilities are. And my buddy Dave is by all means a perfectionist, very professional, and we are polar opposites when it comes to work. But I think it's good that we're polar opposites, to be honest with you, because I'm looking for the best bang for the buck, and that's going to be his customer base. And I've done a lot of racing. He's done a lot of racing. He's done a lot of cylinder heads, and he has the knowledge. And I myself have a lot of track time and experience with different engine combinations throughout the years. And we hope to be putting a video together here soon, specifically on the Oldsmobile cylinder head and the areas that you should be worried about and at what power ranges. Approximately. He does want to get more analytical with it, but I think we're going to have to decide on how we're going to do that. But either way, stay tuned, share, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the content. In the next couple of weeks, it looks like it's going to warm up, and we're going to be out in the garage working on the olds. I got to take the rear end apart, and I got to check the spool, and I got to check the gear, because I may not do anything to the car but race it next year. And that actually sounds like a good idea. I wanted to re-gear it, but I was talking with a friend of mine, and I was talking with my friends at the swap meet yesterday, and it sounds like I should just run it. It's dialed in. Why change it? We know what it's going to do. We're just bracket racing it. We'll wait for the fall for the changes. So, but we still got to dig into the car. We still got to get it ready. We got to get the coolant out of there. We got to put the water in there. It's not warm enough yet to do that, but stuff we got to do. And so stick around, stay tuned. We're not just dedicated to what we're doing here in the dungeon, but we'll be out in the garage soon enough. So we will see you guys around. See you.